Oh, okie dokie. So here I am doing a lot more plant profiles and presentations than I ever anticipated because I got so much free time. No, I don't. In fact, this class is taking more time than I ever would have anticipated, and though I love it, I'm not even making minimum wage. That's brutal. Anyway, here we go. Trachycarpis for Tuniai. Let's get a picture of that guy. I think I just watched Daniel. I think Daniel, it was your plant presentations, yes. And they were really pretty. Like your background looked nice, like way better than this. But sorry, this is all I got time for. Anyway, this is the Windmill Palm. And one of the things you can see actually behind here that it's got this like burlap looking bark, fibrous, I think they're, anyway, it's up there, maybe scales from the leaf petioles or something. We'll look and see that in a minute. But this super fibrous, like burlappy looking bark, I think in one of the descriptors it said it was like dark gray or black, but this is brown. Every picture I've seen says brown. Windmill palm. And one of the cool things about it is it's very hardy. Like there are palms that are found more northerly. I think one that maybe Robin did, his name I can't remember right now, Camarops. Anyway, this one doesn't grow quite as northerly as that one, but this one also can handle like freezing temperatures. I think there was one picture, I didn't include it, but it was a picture in the snow, the palm tree in the snow. Crazy dude. Anyway, it's got these palmate leaves, so they're like a palm. They're the palm instead of long like a feather. Divided leaves. And there's another view with the hairs all over the trunk. It's not a great picture of that. In fact, I think it's better this one. But those, the hairy trunk, that is a distinguishing feature. So let's see. It's in the Ericaceae. I've been listening to y'all pronounce the botanical words, and it's funny because you're not hearing them said. If we were in person, I would be on. We would be out. We would be out in the world. We'd be looking at these plants, and I would be pronouncing them, and you would be trusting me in my pronunciation, which may also be amusing to some people. But I've heard them said before, so you know I at least have a decent guess at how they go, even if I'm not quite right. But it's not. You know, don't feel like you have to pronounce these right. I think I said this before that these are botanical Latin. Like nobody speaks Latin anymore. So the way that I pronounce this is Ericaceae. Ericaceae. Sometimes I make it sloppy and say like Ericaceae. Then the Ericales. So the ales is like an ales. It's usually the ending, like uberales, like that. Ericales. So. Medium size, that's really helpful, isn't it? It's not like a super, super tall palm, and it's not like a, I don't know, a tiny little one. Medium-sized tree, basically. Very cold hardy, single-stemmed. The leaves are palmate, like I mentioned. Trunk usually thicker at the top than at the bottom. It's kind of odd. I don't remember seeing that in the picture, but anyway, it's something to note. Covered with dense blackish. No, they're really brownish. I'm going to change that right there because that doesn't correspond with any of the pictures that I saw. There we go. As the trunk elongates, the fibers fall off the lower portion, so you might not notice those fibers down at the very base of it. The petioles, which are the leaf stems, are 1.5 feet, and the leaves are like 3.5 feet wide, and that's from sunset. It's very fast growing, which may be very useful in a landscape if you want something that's going to grow fast and not have a kind of naked area for a long time. They grow well in areas that don't have a lot of airflow, so like confined areas, like if you have a weird little spot, you know, that's sort of tucked between a wall and a fence or something, it would be okay for that. An accent specimen plant, patio or framing tree. Also, they do well in containers. I think one of the extra things was that you can grow them inside for quite a while. Maybe that was a different thing. Anyway, okay, nix that. Fabulous focal point. Sets off a patio area or sitting area. Okay, that's cool. I'm not a landscaper, you can tell, so I'm like, ooh, silly landscaping things. But if you're a landscaper, this is good to know. 30 feet tall and 10 feet wide. That's pretty wide. Small tree. So a medium tree? Well, small for a big tree, whatever that means. So the center of origin for these palms is China. So I was like, what? Because I wouldn't think of a palm tree coming from China, but there you go. They absolutely are. They've been cultivated for thousands of years, and people use those fibers for all kinds of different things. Okie doke, moving right along to a very, very different plant, the pink abelia. Capri Foliage, which is a lovely family. It includes like elderberry and I don't think carnation. Oh, well, anyway, a lot of other nice things, which I can't remember right now. In the Dipsicales, it's the first one I think we've seen in the Dipsicales. I don't have a lot of can't think of other plants in that order, but the Capri Foliaceae are really beautiful family with very, very lovely flowers. So if you ever go out like around the Rose Bowl, they have a lot of elderberries around there. Elderberries, of course, the fruit is quite lovely to eat. And the flowers are beautiful. It's a really nice tree. Go for a walk around the Rose Bowl and check them out. They're in the same family as Abelia. Abelia is not a plant that I have any awareness of. I don't know that I've ever grown it or really even seen it growing. Probably, in fact, when I saw the pictures, it looks kind of familiar, like this sort of bronzy foliage. It's not very, very dense foliage. It's kind of a wildflowery looking shrub, but it's pretty. Little flowers, probably the bees love it. I bet it would be great for bees. So yes, the new growth is kind of a really nice color bronze, blooms summer through fall. That's one of the things they mentioned, that it was very, very floriferous. Small lilac pink flowers, open, arching, it's cute, arching branches covered with very glossy leaves. And then Monrovia website said, specific stuff. A fine textured, lacy, meaning very open, not very densely leafed. An open shrub that associates well with dark green shrubs in a border on a sunny bank or near corners for a softening effect. Likes full sun. It can tolerate a little bit of shade, but mostly people said sun. That can be tricky though. Like sun here in Southern California is baking hot sun. A lot of plants say that they want full sun, and they will just wither and be very unhappy in full sun here in Southern California, because those plant tags and a lot of these recommendations are really for the whole country. So I have done quite well with things that want full sun planting in especially afternoon shade here in Southern California. So your mileage may vary. Regular water. That's another thing. It's like a blanket statement for the whole country. So regular water here means like you got to water it pretty often. I mean, I think it said somewhere like once a week. Like, what does that mean? That means nothing, because the amount of the lack of moisture, the low humidity in our air, and the dry soils and the lack of rainfall mean that you got to water pretty often for something that needs regular water. It doesn't tolerate extreme heat. So why is it on the list? Oh yeah, because that Plant California Alliance, which includes things like blue spruce, which I think Ben pointed out, is not for Southern California. And so we tried to pick plants out of the like 250 or something on the list that were more appropriate to Southern California, but some got stuck on there. Anyway, so that's that. Abelia, probably like if you lived in the mountains, like a Big Bear-ish, it would be happier. Probably not so much down here in Pasadena. 3.5 feet tall and wide, sprawling, remember that openness. As far as the center of origin, it was hard to say because this is a hybrid plant. Abelias, some of them are from the North and South America, North and Mesoamerica, like Mexico and the Southern Americas, and others are from China. And I couldn't even find out where Abelia uniflora was from. So if this is a cross of a Chinese Abelia and Abelia uniflora, it's really hard to say where this is from. It's like in a lab kind of thing. And what else? Oh, but it is interesting then to think about the origin of the Abelias, if there are Abelias in Mexico and in China. What's their ancestors? Where did this plant evolve? So there we go. Facts of interest is just a nice description coming from, I think it was North Carolina State University, talking about where and how you use Abelia, and then some pictures which I showed you before. So these are pretty small. There's an inflorescence, right? Very, very good looking bee flowers with all kinds of bee guides in that flower right there. And that's what the shrub looks like. Okay, moving right along, now we're going to jump into an Australian native, the blue hibiscus. I think I got rid of the term hibiscus in there, which is the old genus name. Now it's, I have no idea how to pronounce this, Allegheny. Sure, that's right? sure it is. Allegheny Hugelii. I think actually it is Hugelii. In the Malvaceae, in the Malvales. So the Malvaceae is a lovely family, like all the hibiscuses and malva and a lot of really wonderful demulcent herbal plants, things that are good for mucous membranes. I wonder if slippery elm is even in there. Anyway, it's got blue hibiscus-like flowers, which is probably not a big surprise considering its name. Foliage is deeply incised, so the leaf is simple, but has very deeply incised palmate lobes. Sort of a gray-green. Flowers are quite large, 4 to 5 inches in diameter, and pinwheeled. I got some good pictures of that pinwheel. Look at that. That's awesome. And there is the deeply incised leaf. So this is one leaf right there. Like, these are not leaflets. It's just a very deeply incised leaf. Simple leaf. Beautiful, nearly continuously flowering. Annie's Annuals, which is a fantastic garden website and garden up in the Bay Area, which I would love to go to. Field trip! They had really great information about that. I included that link in the Google Doc. They're Australian natives. They can tolerate our really hot summers and crappy soils and no summer water, which is great, and still bloom like crazy. So this sounds like a really cool plant, unless you're like totally only California natives. This is a beautiful flowering shrub. Maybe not quite so lush. It's not like a dense flowering shrub. Sorry, I did not include a picture of the whole thing. I will see if I can add that. But it seems like it'd be really, really nice thing to have in a landscape, especially for the pollinators, because it's going to bloom like crazy all over the place. Oops, I didn't include that. I was just trying to get this done so fast, just so you have some information. I think you're going to figure out, though, that if you see a picture like this, that that's the blue hibiscus. Okay? But as far as being useful to you landscaping folks, I'll find that information and I'll put that in there. Anyway, over and out. That's it for now.